All right, here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to tonight's charting session. It is September 28th. It is Thursday. Hopefully everybody's having a good evening or morning wherever you guys are located at. So tonight's session, we're going to go over the price action today, going to go over the trades that we ended up taking. We took two trades. One was a stop. One was a nice win. So we'll go over those, and then we'll talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow, and then we'll talk about any sort of questions that you guys have or trades that you want me to go over. We can do that as well. So, again, going into today, my bias was bullish. Again, our bias has been spot on recently. Everything that we've been saying and I've been saying that I want to see happen has been happening. Again, this is when September action and end of year action starts to come. This is when for the people who have been in the Discord for months now, and we're going through September, I said when September hits, the end of September to early October is when you'll start to notice the efficiency in price, meaning the draw on liquidity becomes clear, market maker models become clear, and price is efficient to whatever the draw on liquidity is. So we're starting to get clean action like that, and we had that as well today. So I had bullish bias going into today. The reason is looking at NQ. We finally met our weekly target, which was this weekly imbalance that we had. This is what I was looking to see all the way since we were back up here. I sent a message back in the Discord like almost a month ago saying that I wanted to see 14,600 or 14,600 by October. So I was like 3 days off. But after we got that was our weekly objective now met. So once we get this big move back to the upside here, again, notice the aggression as well, right? Right when we came back, this was yesterday. Right when we came into that weekly imbalance, we just automatically shot right back up, right? All those aggressiveness. So now today, this is what I was looking for. I was leaning bullish, but I wasn't going to have a super strong, I'm not going to hold on to my bias. And that's one thing that when we go over in these sessions that I want you guys to focus on. Is I never, what we like to call marry a bias, right? Don't be married to your bias. It should be very easy for you to say, you know what, I'm bearish. Oh, you know what, I'm bullish. Because you're constantly being fed data, right? Trading is one of those things where, especially when we're intraday traders, you're constantly being fed data, which your bias or whatever you're thinking is always going to be changing, right? Because you're getting, fed new information. So don't be afraid to say, hey, I might be bullish, right now, but then, something starts to play out against my bias and shows me that I shouldn't be bullish, right? At that point in time, I'm going to say, all right, I'm bearish now, right? Or, whatever it is, right? But going into today, that was kind of my buy or my mindset going in, is I was most likely bullish, and I was looking to see this fair value gap hold, but I wasn't afraid to switch my bias if the market was going to tell me otherwise. So going into the morning, I really, really liked ES. And ES was where I was really looking to take a clear trade because ES's model was a lot more clear to me. So this is what I'll show here. Looking at ES here. Clear power of 3, in my opinion. We had our buy side intraday here. And this is what I was looking to see. We had a nice accumulation that formed in the overnight session and from yesterday. And I was looking to see this manipulation move to the downside to sweep these equal lows, come into this inverse fair value gap, and get bought right up to buy side and this daily imbalance. We had a daily imbalance that I wanted to see become the draw on liquidity right here, a very small little imbalance. This is where I wanted to see price go, which lined up right here with this buy side level. So this is kind of where I was looking to see price go, but I was waiting for that sweep, again, waiting for that stop raid in the opposite direction of the draw to then give me that bias and give me the good understanding of now is when we are going to shoot price, right? So that's what I was waiting for today. So going into the morning on ES and NQ, we ended up having just kind of slow action. Market opened. Again, I wasn't really looking to touch anything here. Now, at this point in time, I ended up taking a short trade. Now, the short trade I took, I ended up getting stopped out on, and we'll talk about this trade and why this it wasn't a bad trade, but it wasn't a good trade. And it's probably a trade that I shouldn't have taken, and we'll talk about it. So the trade that I ended up taking was this right here. I was looking to see this. Now, the reason, and I entered on this imbalance right here, this 15 second. Now, the reason this was not a bad trade or this was not a good trade is because I let my original bias slip way too early. Way too early, meaning this action to the downside was a lot more bearish than I wanted it to be, meaning on a bigger time frame, again, we're still technically holding all these imbalances right here. But at this specific time, I started to be like, oh, maybe we could sell off here. And I failed to really I failed to trust my initial bias. And the mistake that I made was I made a decision before the market told me the clear directional bias of what we wanted to do. That is the problem with this trade. Because at this point in time, we're slowly moving our way down. We're sweeping these intraday sell side levels. I should not be looking to take any sort of short after these equal lows are taken right here, especially when we're slowly working our way back down. We're back into optimal trade entry as well of this range here. And this should just not be a place to short. Now, what made this not bad is I was looking to scalp this. I wasn't looking to see sell side. I was looking to see, once this move here, the confluence that I had on this was on ES here. So looking at ES, the trade that I really wanted was on ES, but I decided to take it on NQ. This was the actual trade here, which ended up working out, which was this intraday buy side got swept. We get a move to the downside. We ended up coming up and rejecting this imbalance, looking to see sell side. So when I see this, I'm like, okay, ES looks bearish. I want to see us, come further into this imbalance. So I ended up taking it on NQ with good risk, but again, this trade shouldn't have been taken in my opinion, and it was just an unnecessary loss. So again, of course, I want to be fully transparent with you guys. If I make a bad trade, I'm going to say it's a bad trade, right? Now, this is one of those trades where it's not good or bad. It's definitely more bad than it is good. And it's one of those trades where I shouldn't have taken it, right? So realizing that and using that to my advantage, saying, hey, Justin, looking at today, we had two trades. One was great, but this one was a loss. This shouldn't have even been taken in the first place, right? We should have just had one really good win, and I would have even made, more profits. This is one of those trades that shouldn't have even been taken to begin with. So this is when you go back in the journal and you're like, okay, what was my thought process here, and why was my, where my head was at this specific time? Why was it probably off, right? And looking back at this, the reason why I shouldn't have taken this is, number one, equal lows on sell side have been taken. Even though I'm trying to scalp this, I shouldn't even be trying to scalp a little move like that. I think I just rushed into a position, right? I shouldn't even be looking at that. Number one, I need to be waiting for my already existing bias, which is I'm looking to see displacement to the upside to catch a long, right? That's what I'm really looking for. So then we're waiting, and then we get that big move to the upside. Now, there was actually a possibility here for longs, and the long opportunity was right here. So the possible opportunity for longs would have been this. You have equal lows being swept here, which actually, looking back, this morning, I didn't even realize how clean this was. I was focused on this imbalance. I didn't even realize how clean we had these equal lows here on the 5-minute. This looks beautiful. This is a clear manipulation move here. So the clear trade here would have been this. You have external liquidity now swept, right? What am I now looking for? I'm looking to see a stop raid internal to then take longs to my existing buy side level, right? So looking intraday, boom, you have equal lows put in, get stopped out, big displacement to the upside. What am I looking for in price? I'm looking for price to retrace back to this area, hold this imbalance. We have this inverse imbalance and a 1-minute fair value gap as well. If I zoom back out to the 1-minute, we have a 1-minute imbalance. I zoom in. Once this holds, I can take whatever that next imbalance is. So once this holds, get bought up, 30-second, 15-second. Good look to take an entry and put your stop at the low or put your stop at the bottom of these candles, and we got a beautiful buy up here. But again, notice the entry here. Notice how this is exactly what you want in price. External swept, internal stop raid, displacement up. You hold this imbalance. Beautiful risk to reward. If you were to enter this, let's say you even get a bad entry like up here, or like even higher, and you put your stop, let's say you put it at the low here, you put it even lower. Number one, your first PT here is this high because we know that the draw on liquidity is already existing here. Your first price target on this is a 3.7 RR ratio, right? This is exactly what you want to see. And then we already know we're going up here as well with our runners. So this is when you shouldn't be afraid, right? Now, in my opinion, this kind of trade, which is very early on, takes a lot more confidence and conviction than it does once we already get this move. So if you guys ever are looking at a setup like this and price hasn't had that big move up yet to really validate the draw, this is one of those trades where you have an understanding of price, right? Understanding of, hey, we just swept these equal lows. We just swept internal. Now having this move up, we should have that efficient move to go back to the upside. If you don't have confidence with this just yet, that's fine. What I want you to do, though, is when you notice setups like this, take it with a micro. Take it with a very small position size, just so you can have the action of noticing that a setup looks like you think it, this might be a market making model or whatever. It might be stop rate, whatever it is. Put something on the table. Just the act of pressing a button and watching it work out is going to end up building conviction and confidence over time. So you'll be able to get those really nice entries, right? Once you build confidence with it. But right now, don't be worried about it. But I do want you guys to focus on that and focus on just putting something on, because you should be putting something on that you don't care what the loss is, right? Whether it be $20 or whether it be on your eval and it's like $100, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're willing to lose, where it doesn't even matter to you, right? It's just the act of putting something and seeing, the trade go out, right? And over time, you're going to end up building confidence with that. So I was staying more patient. I wanted to see even more confirmation to the upside. Once we got this big move up, again, I'm waiting for structure to form here. So, technically, I had 3 trades today, actually. This was the second trade we ended up taking, which was this right here. Buy side level here. I'm looking to see us come back into this 5-minute fair value gap here. Once get structure pulled up, again, notice this initial high is not taken. We come back down. Right when we come into this imbalance here, I jump into longs here. My fill was around a really, really good fill here. I think a lot of you guys ended up making good money on this because you scaled out along the way. But we had a really nice entry and got bought up hard to here. Once we got this move back down, I ended up taking off this trade for, I think I was up like $500. I didn't get stopped to break even. I made money on the trade. But the reason I took it off is what I want to get into right now. For the people who were in the live today, at this specific moment, I said, guys, I'm going to take off my contracts here. Now, I said that I'm technically breaking a rule of mine here. Which is I don't take off my position unless my stop loss or my PTs hit. But in this specific case and in specific scenarios, I'm okay with having a line that I can cross, which is not technically breaking that rule for me. And the reason is this specific trade, you can trade this 2 ways. There's 2 ways that you can trade this setup. Number 1, you can enter off this 5-minute imbalance, put your stop at the bottom of the wick of this imbalance, but your risk reward is going to be, it's going to be okay. And one thing that's good about this setup is you don't have to worry about all the intraday chop, right? So this is the one way that you could take it, is wait for this big displacement to the upside, enter off the fair value gap, and just focus on the 5-minute, right? Don't worry about intraday action. Or you can wait for that intraday stop raid and then trade the best possible entry you could get. So that's exactly what I did. Looking at the 1 minute, when I saw this fair value gap get ran through to the downside, I know that this now becomes a stop rate. I know we're going lower. So there's no reason for me to hold this position and take drawdown knowing that we're going to come back down here. I'm just going to wait for us to come back down, hold this, and then I'll look to re-enter my position, right? Does that make sense? So that's exactly what I did. I took off that position. I waited to see a stop rate of this low and for us to hold this. Boom, 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 boom. And we end up getting a big move down. So this move ended up scaring a lot of people. And for a second, I was like, yeah, we could be bearish. But I was confident that this move was a fake out. And I remember in the lives, I knew a lot of you guys were shaken. But again, notice the perfect takeoff of that trade that I had there, right? I took it off perfectly predicting this move here. So I didn't have to take this drawdown, right? And I would have gotten stopped on that position as well. So now, at this specific point in time, I'm not looking to re-enter just yet, right? Why is that? Because so far, we're running through this 5-minute fair value gap. If we close below this 5-minute fair value gap, then I would expect the draw on liquidity to be this recent low. Again, what's being respected, what's being disrespected. So if this gets disrespected and we continue to run through this, I'm expecting price to go here, right? Now, when I see this big move down, just from experience, I know that most likely this is just a move to stop out all those traders, right? Again, the stop run at this low, I'm expecting a big move back up, a 5-minute candle to just, again, notice the wicks do the damage. The candles are showing the narrative here, right? I'm expecting the wicks to do the damage on this 5-minute. And as long as we close in this and we continue to hold this, I still think we're going to have a big move to the upside, right? So I zoom in. And even to be safe, I'm not looking to long anything yet. So what is my validation for me to jump back into longs? If we run this imbalance, if we run this 1-minute bearish fair value gap to the upside, that is my validation to jump back into shorts, because we can come up, possibly reject this, and then sell back off. But if this gets ran through to the upside, I automatically know that the 5 minutes now holding, and where this move is just a stop rate below this and stopping out all these traders here to go right back to the buy side, right? So I'm waiting. I zoom into the 15-second chart to look for an entry. Or I think I was on the 30-second, actually. We're coming up. Right here, boom. Right when this gets ran through to the upside, I'm looking to trade this as an inverse fair value gap. Oh, actually, sorry, I took this on ES. I'm sorry. Here we go, on ES. Let me go back. So pretty much the exact same thing. 5-minute fair value gap. We get ran through to the downside. Initial high's not taken. And I'm expecting this to still hold. Again, notice the wicks are doing the damage here. If this imbalance here, we never got a candle close below this. We're continuing to hold here. There's no reason that I should be bearish here. Bullish order flow is still playing out, right? So I zoom in. I wait for this to get ran through to the upside. Expecting this big move here to be a breakaway gap on a 1-minute. And then right when we end up coming up and we get above this, I enter long on the inverse. And we also had a nice 30-second here. So we had this nice breakaway gap, meaning I don't want to see price come here. A breakaway gap is a fair value gap that is caused from an expansion move that does not get revisited. So I expected this to become breakaway gap, drew that in, and I entered right here on this pullback into this inverse with my stop around here, and then I ended up moving my stop up to here when we got this move initially, and then we ended up getting bought right up to buy side. Again, so this move here ended up scaring a lot of you guys. But that's okay. If you're in this position and you get stopped out here, that's fine. But don't let the stop out change your bias until the market tells you that you should change your bias, right? Just because we got a sell off here does not mean we're going to dump to, make new lows. It doesn't. Wait for the candle close. Again, zoom out. If you're too zoomed in, always take a step back. Zoom out. Where are we? Right? Focus on what the external draw on liquidity is here. Don't be too zoomed in. 5-minute chart. This fair value gap never got closed below, so there's no reason for me to be bearish here. So I ended up taking off my whole position here. The reason I took off my whole position here and I didn't let it run, which I definitely should. I could have let it run, but the reason I didn't let it run is because we had an SMT, a bearish SMT here on NQ, which was fine. But if I did let this run, again, that external buy side level is where we were going. So I definitely could have let a contract go to that as well. But we end up kind of chopping here, and then the rest of the day we end up just continuing higher. Again, that expansion move. This is a perfect power of 3 model here. Jot this down, screenshot this. Exactly. Again, guys, I told you in the pre-market plan, I told you before the market even opened that this is exactly what I was expecting to see today. Exactly what I was expecting to see today. And not only did I expect it, we executed it, right? This is the level of precision and the level of being able to just read the market and read price action that I want you guys to be able to get to, right? All right, so let's take a look at some of the trades you guys took today or any questions that you guys have so far. Was this a decent setup or no? Again, I need a full chart here. I can't tell from this. I don't have enough information on where we are on a bigger time frame. What time frame this is? Is this a 1 minute? I need more info here. I don't like taking 5-minute fair value gaps personally, so instead I took the 10:19 1-minute fair value gap at 10:23, got stopped. Thoughts? Again, it happens. If you got stopped, that's fine. But did you re-enter when you realize that you got stop hunted? It's fine to get stopped. Guys, look at yesterday, for example. I got stopped on the first trade we had, and I re-entered realizing I got stopped hunted, and then we ended up getting paid from it, right? It's just recognizing what times are you actually getting stopped because your bias is wrong, or are you getting stopped just because you had bad execution and you got stop hunted, right? Because just because you get stopped does not mean it's a bad trade. And just because you win doesn't mean it's a good trade, right? You can get stopped and still be fine. Because trust me, I would much rather you have a really good risk to reward and get stopped out and then jump back in later and make 4 times of what you just got stopped out. Because that is good, building good habits, right? How do you know when to switch bias? I have a hard time figuring out when to do that and how to know which lows or highs looks for sweep. Again, my biggest advice is always zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. This entry here, I think, is too early. From what you have marked out, again, this was the trade that we took, but it wasn't even, we weren't even in this imbalance yet here. I would have liked your fill to be a little bit lower. But again, this still a great trade. Still a great trade. Doesn't really matter, but again, zoom out here. You guys are too zoomed in here. There's no structure here. Notice the time of day as well, right? There's no trades here. No trades here. Again, especially when external bias has already been taken now. You should not be looking along any of this. You should not be looking along any of this. Yes, I like this. I like this. I was actually looking I had to drive my dad to the dealership, but I was looking to take a trade here as well. This did look good, yeah. Because buy side swept, internal swept, we got big displacement, nice breaker. Internal sweeper here. Notice as well, this is what I was really paying attention to here. This high comes up, gets taken. If you go down to a 15-second here, you'll get an entry. You'll get displacement and a fair value gap, and we get a nice sell-off. So yeah, definitely a good opportunity there. Yep, this is beautiful, bro. This is great. Great trade. Can you explain more about when we should know to take off our position? Take off as in price target, or take off as in knowing situational awareness, like I did today. I took it off early. Taking it off early is just experience. Right now, I don't want you guys to focus on doing that. You do not do what I did today because you don't have enough experience to do it. And that's not me bashing you or putting you down. But if you're focused on doing what I did today, all that's going to do is end up creating, you're not going to build confidence that way. And you're going to build impatience, because every single time that you're in a trade that doesn't go your way, or like you're in drawdown, you're going to end up taking it off before your stop loss gets hit, and it's going to go right back in your favor. So don't think about that. That takes time to get to be able to take it off, or to recognize, when price is going to do something, or recognize when you're going to get stopped. Don't focus on that. Right now, your rules should be either PT or stop loss gets hit. You'll get to that point with experience. Yep, all these trades look good, guys. Justin, new to the Discord and to all these new concepts you use, I've been trading support and resistance for about 6 months, but I didn't feel like there was much as it. So many questions is where I can learn these concepts within the Discord. For values and balances, buy side, sell side, that I'm excited to learn from you, man. My biggest recommendation is watching ICT 2022 mentorship. That's the first thing. First, watch ICT 2022 mentorship, and then watch all the videos that I have on my YouTube. I have a whole section on my YouTube, which is how to trade ICT, and I have a bunch of things. And then also keep coming to these trading sessions, and the more that you watch these, the more it'll start clicking. and making sense. Much love, Mike. All right, let's talk about... Oh, wait, let me see this. Would you have long NQ at 3 p.m.? We created SMT tapped into discount. Probably not. I can tell you right now, probably not. It's not bad. It's not bad. Where were we on a bigger time frame? It's not bad. It's definitely not a bad setup, but we did have equal highs here as well. It's okay. It's not bad. Now, the reason I don't like this is because your external bias doesn't align with your internal bias. Meaning, I'm bullish on a very small time frame here, but I'm bearish on this time frame because we just swept buy side, right? And I want to see us now start to retrace back down, right? Does that make sense? Again, too tight of a stop here. Too tight of a stop, and there's no stop raid. There's no stop raid. You don't take this setup unless there's a stop raid here. This big move back up, notice there's no low here that was broken. There's no low here that's broken through, right? Wait for a stop raid. Again, stop is too tight here too. Now, again, this stop is fine, but if you're taking this trade, I'm hoping you got back in. Now, it's okay to take this and get stopped and then get right back in this after this move, right? After this, then you look to re-enter. That's fine. Again, the risk reward on this looks great, but this stop doesn't invalidate the bias, right? It doesn't invalidate it. So you could, again, guys, my job is for me to help you guys figure out the best way that you trade, right? I don't want you guys to trade exactly the way I trade. I'm trying to mold and help you guys figure out the best way that you trade. And for some people, that's trading like this, super tight stop losses, and then jumping back in, right? That's kind of how I trade. I get stopped, but I'll jump back in if price, shows me. Or the people that trade bigger time frame, like the 5 minute, putting their stop way down here and not, worrying about this intraday action, right? My goal is to figure out what do you fit best, right? What are you the most consistent and what are you the most comfortable at? Because we're all different, right? All right, so let's talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow. So looking at the 4 hour, again, I'm still going to be bearish, oh my God, bullish. This is what I'm looking for right here. Beautiful 4 hour fair value gap. We now have buy side of the curve starting to form. Again, notice we have a low put in now. What do I want to see? Sell side, stop right here. Sell side's now taken. What do I want to see here? Do you think we're going to come here before taking this low? Absolutely not. We will not make new highs without taking this low. So what am I looking to see? We now have intraday buy side met for tomorrow. I'm looking to see NQ come down, sweep this sell side level. We have a nice 4 hour fair value gap in line with our bullish bias, which is buy side of the curve, right? We have sell side of the curve here, buy side of the curve. We want this imbalance to be our daily draw. I want to see sell side met, 4 hour bullish fair value gap gets bounced off of, and we continue to the upside. Clear bias going into tomorrow. Clear bias. I'm not looking to touch anything in this range. Unless this low is taken, I'm not looking to take any trade here unless this low is taken first. Does that make sense? How would you manage a position when price almost hit TP and you have a trailing drawdown, considering that our wins are way bigger than our losses? If price comes to break even, we would have a big drawdown. Example, second trade from today. My personal rule is I don't put my okay, it depends on the setup, but a lot of the times I will not put my stop to break even unless my first PT's hit. A lot of the times I won't put my stop to break even unless my first PT's hit. So again, like the second trade that we took today, where it was that initial move up, right? Where we had this move up and I was like up like 1K or 2K, whatever it is. And then we come back down. I don't care. I don't care to take. I'm not looking to take anything. Again, that's hindsight. That specific example would be hindsight, right? Because I don't know at this specific moment, right when we get right here, I don't know we're going to sell back off here until we actually do, right? And that's when I make my decision. Because I know the draw is here. That doesn't mean that we can't sell back off here before going here, though, right? So I recognize what's being told me right this second. Again, that is what I want you guys to focus on. The mindset I want you guys to have is, what is the market telling me right now? Okay? Right now. I don't care what happens tomorrow, the next day. I don't care what happened 5 minutes ago. What is the market telling me right now? That's going to give you the most clear bias and clear understanding of price. Make sense? Do you think now is the time to buy prop firms since the price action is so good? You can buy a prop firm whenever, brother. It doesn't have anything to do with it's go for it. Stop losses are based off of risk to reward and based off of two imbalances. So any sort of area that I don't want to see price come back to but can still validate my bias is where I'll put my stop. Yeah, what's your gold trade, brother? Let's see. Can you review my gold trade that lost 1:28 p.m. 1 minute fair value gap on gold? 1:28. All right, huge. You don't take this short, brother. All right, let's talk about this. Why do you not take this short here? Model's already over. These equal lows here have been taken. When we get this big imbalance here, you're shorting a move that has already done its job, right? It's already done its job. This is a no touch area. The external draw. Oh my God, gold died. If anybody was, oh my God, tell me somebody took the gold shorts, bro, from a fucking week ago or 2 weeks ago, dude. I told everybody this move was happening. Okay. Number one, when this daily level is taken, what can you expect? When this daily levels, what can you expect? Accumulation. That's number one. Okay. When you zoom in and you're trading intraday on this time frame, notice, what does this look like to you on the 15-minute? Accumulation. You have nothing going on here. There's no existing bias. There is no clear drawn liquidity. There is nothing to tell you what's going on here. So zoom out on a bigger time frame and look where you ended up buying, right? You bought short right when we just ended up holding a fair value gap and ended up sweeping these two lows here, right? Notice, this high was not even taken. This high was not taken here. So buy side still existing are here, right? Now, it would be a little bit different. It'll be a little bit better if this was taken, but it wasn't, which makes it worse. And there's no existing bias here. So no trade here. No trade. You shouldn't even be trading gold today because of where we are on a bigger time frame. Yeah. You're good. Why didn't you take them? Take what? Justin, do I need to have access to TFs under 1 minute on TV? TFs? What's TFs? Access to time frames under 1 minute? Oh, do you need access to time frames? No, you don't. I like them though. I really do. 15 seconds is too fast, then don't trade it. Again, I would stick to those bigger time frames. If you're new and you get stressful and you get anxious, don't trade those fast time frames. Don't. Because you're going to enter and you're going to be shaking in your fucking boots. Don't do it. All right, guys, that is all I have for you guys tonight. Clear bias going into tomorrow. Looking to see this 4 hour. Looking to see us get bought up. Let's do it. Let's have another great day. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's end the week off strong. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I'll see you then. Peace out.